Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Add This to Your Playlist Volume 1. So I'm back once again. We're shifting away from some of my previous videos where we were looking at the top 15 tracks from a specific artist. I'm going back to that same formula I started off on my original videos where I review some of the best tracks out at the moment. I hope you guys have all been really well. I know it's kind of crazy times at the moment in terms of the lockdown and all the different things that come with that, but I hope this playlist kind of gives you that sort of positive energies to keep on going, man. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so the first track is from a guy called Davido, and this track is called Birthday Cake, and it features Hit Boy and Nas. This is from a project that literally just dropped today, so today's Friday the 13th. Literally is probably my favourite track off the album. Really, really good song, and got that collaboration with Nas, who's a legend without doubt, and then Hit Boy as well at the same time. And Hit Boy, he has been on an amazing run of productions. He's produced on a Nas album, well, he produced the Nas album, Big Sean, Griselda, Conway the Machine, Benny the Butcher. He produced loads of work with those guys, and he also did a joint project with Don Kennedy as well. So this guy is literally the MVP of lockdown in terms of production, because he's just going crazy right now. Just to move away from that, this is obviously Davido's album, and it is a really, really good album. He had the previous album, which I had a couple of tracks which I took off there. This album, again, I've taken the same amount of tracks, and it's really, really good. And you know what? Him, Wiz and Burner have all dropped within this whole sort of time period, and it's really, really good to see so much talent and so much quality coming out of Niger, my home country. So really, really good. But yeah, this is my favourite track from Davido, and yeah, give it a try. Alright, so the next artist I'm going to talk about is a guy called Parcel. This guy kind of burst onto the scene with his standout track called Frontline, and his style is very, very similar, or you can kind of get similarities between his style and J Huss's. I kind of put that down to they're both from the same sort of country. They've got that sort of like African influenced sort of sound, or that sort of broken English sort of sound. They've got that little twang, and I think it works really well. But Parcel and J Hus, I feel like they're very, very different artists, man. Parcel's coming out of Coventry. He's got a whole different sort of aspect, and what he's talking about is totally different from what J Hus is about. So, and I just think the music just sounds a little bit different. I feel like J Hus was a bit more on the sort of like obviously he had the road bars, he has the real life rap, but he still had that kind of like party sort of influence to his sound. And I feel like Parcel is a little bit more grimier than that, if I can say that. But yeah, he's really, really good. So he's just dropped his project, which is called Send Them to Coventry, and this project he's done really well. He's done really, really well for a first project in terms of the production, in terms of the tracks. He's done really, really well. So this is my favourite track of the project. It's called No Warning, and it features Boy Boy, and it's just grimy, absolutely grimy, man. Like really, really rate it, man. Check it out. Alright, so the next track I'm going to talk about is from a guy called Capo Lee and AO Beats, and it's off the EP Against All Odds, which is I think off like a soundtrack of an upcoming sort of like grime film featuring a host of different sort of like grime legends, which is going to be really, really interesting. Really, really looking forward to it. I think it's only about five or six tracks, but I'm really, really feeling this track. Capo Lee, he's a very, very good artist. He's really kind of moved from just being a sort of like MC to expanding himself and kind of expressing himself in terms of like becoming an artist. And like that's why I feel like he's been able to work on a lot of different tracks. Like his last EP, I really, really enjoyed it. This track here is probably the strongest in my opinion off of the EP. Really, really good song. Kind of taps into the sort of newish sort of sound at the moment, but still has that sort of like grime roots as well, which I really, really rate. Really, really good song. Check it out. The next song is from Hollow Man, aka Landlord, aka Gigs. He's been away for a while. I don't know what the circumstances were. I don't know what this guy was doing or whatever, but he's back now, and he's dropped his latest project, which is a very strong project. And I'm not gonna lie, look, I've been a Gigs fan since Hard Bodied, Walking Apart, like all of that stuff. Like I've been a fan since then, and you know he's had a lot of projects since then, but some of them I don't feel were a strong body of work. You know, like a go through from start to finish, as they were, as the hard body was, or the Walking Apart was. This latest project, here it's got me, man. It's got me. There's a track on there with Georgia Smith, which is really, really strong. This track I'm going to talk to you about now, really, really, really strong. And I feel like he's kind of like found his formula, man. Like I feel like he's just come back with a bang. Really, really rate this project. So the track I'm going to be talking about is called Buff Baddies, and it is typical Gigs, man. You know, that grimy sort of Gigs voice on a crazy sort of beat, man. I think the video is pretty greasy as well, man. But yeah, he's done really well on this, and it's just classic, you know, Gigs, what we expect from him. Really, really like this track. There's a lot of tracks off that album that are really, really good, but this probably stands out for me. So yeah, check it out. So the next track is from an artist who was a former member of the group called The Roots. He was kind of like the front man or the lead rapper of that group. I'm talking about Blackfall, and he's got a track featuring Swiss Beats, Killer Mike and Pusha T, and the track is called Good Morning. And boy, look, Blackfall, if you talk about rappers, he's got to be in that conversation. He's got to be in that conversation. He's a rapper. Like he's really, really good. Like he can bar. Like don't get it twisted, because man was in a jazz band. He can bar. And this project here is literally bars for days. This is his latest album, and yeah, literally bars for days, man. But look, I ain't gonna lie, when Pusha T comes through on this thing, damn. Like, you know what? Since his last project, I can't lie, I'm waiting for the next Pusha T thing, man, because, you know, Pusha, for me, he's a personal favourite of mine. Top 5. I can say top 5. I've got no problem debating that. Like, top 5 for me. So when he comes through on this, he does a madness, absolute madness. So yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to a project from him. But this track here, really, really good. If you love the bars, and Killer Mike, let's not lie, Killer Mike at the end, he does his thing as well. Like really, really good song. Really, really authentic hip hop. Like if you're authentic hip hop, this is the tune for you, man. Really, really good. Another great track to add to your playlist. Alright, so the next track is from another one of my favourites, another one of my favourite UK artists. Another guy who's been away for a bit, but he's back again, Suspect. And this track is called Nothing to Prove, off his latest mixtape called Reloading. And you know, if you listened to Suspect before, you kind of know what he's about, you kind of know what he's rapping about, and this is just another, you know, one to add to the catalogue. Like I feel like he's a great barrer. Like if you're talking about road rap, he's really like in that sort of conversation. Oh, he's got to be in that sort of conversation. And I think at the same time, the quality he has in terms of production, in terms of the visuals, like the visual for this track is really, really good. It kind of like sets him apart from a lot of people out there doing their thing, and he's really kind of built like a big following off of that as well. Yeah, I think he's a great artist. I really, really respect and what he's doing at the moment. And yeah, this track here is just another one, like I said, to add to the catalogue of great tunes that he has. So yeah, really, really good song. Add it to your playlist. First track was obviously Davido, and I did mention Wizkid did release a project, and this is one of my favourite tracks off the project, and it's called Grace. That project he released was really, really good, really, really good. And you know what, I saw on the timeline, on my Twitter timeline, a lot of people were saying, you know, there's no soco on there, there's no like sort of like dancey sort of tunes on there. But you know what, I feel like he's just evolved as an artist, and he's kind of found his sort of lane, and he's saying, you know what, I'm going to stick to this because this is what I enjoy doing. And this album is literally from start to finish is on that same sort of vibe. And the only way I can explain the vibe is like if you're at like a wedding, or if you're at like I don't know, you're at somewhere where it's just chilled settings and you're with your, you know, your better half, your other half, sorry, and you're just, you know, you're dancing to a couple songs, maybe it's sunny, maybe you're abroad or whatever, and you know, it's that slow little dance, you know, just really appreciate the person that you've got next to you. It's that sort of vibe, man. It's really, really good music, really, really chilled, really, really good music, man. I really, really enjoyed the album. I think as well, he in terms of like his features, in terms of the production, like I said, these guys are just taking it to the next level. And dare I say it, like, look, throughout this 15, I've had a lot of UK artists, I've had a lot of you know, African artists on there, and maybe a small amount of American artists. And I really do think the UK and African artists are putting out a lot of good music compared to what we'd see in the US. You debate on that if you want to, but I literally think that's where we are at the moment. But yeah, this is another great song. Add it to your playlist. The next track is from one of my old school favourites, one of my favourite sort of grime spitters from back in the day and still up until now. This is from his project Familiar Stranger. I'm talking about Frisco, and this track here is probably my favourite track off that project. The track is called Sleepless Nights. Really, really good song. Project is strong project. I feel like he's done really well on it, and he's kind of diversified himself. I feel like as an artist now, you kind of have to, you know, obviously do what you do, but you still got to tap into little things here and there. So he's got like an Afro swing song on there. He's got, you know, obviously with his heritage being from the Caribbean, he's got Caribbean tunes on there while still keeping the grimy sort of rap tunes on there as well. So he's really kind of mixed it up as well. But I think it's a strong project. But this track, I really like this track. Really like it. I really like the sort of guitar sample on it, and I feel like Frisco is a really like one of those bars, isn't it? When you hear him, he's coming with the bars, like. So really good song. Add this to your playlist. So another group or set of artists I'm going to talk about from the UK. So this track is called Money Make You Change, and it features M Huncho, Young Bane, and Nave Smalls. And this is off of the M Huncho and Nave Smalls joint project, DNA. This is, you know, with Nave Smalls, and when M Huncho, him and M Huncho link up, you just know what you're gonna get, man. You know what you're gonna get. You know, Nave, like, I ain't gonna lie, when I first heard his songs or heard his tracks, I wasn't sure whether he was from the UK or whether he was from the US. And it took a bit of a time to kind of get used to his sort of flow and his spitting style, but now I've kind of got it. I kind of like fully involved in what he's doing at the moment. And M Huncho, you know, that 48 Hours project, for me, is probably one of the best projects to come out of the UK, full stop. I love that project from start to finish. So I always check out for this guy. I always want to see whatever he's doing. These guys, they come together and they do that source rap to the highest sort of ability or quality that you're going to get out of the UK, man. And this track works really well, and Young Bane just is kind of like the icing on top of the cake of the whole tune, man. But yeah, really good song. Add it to your playlist. Okay, so another guy who's come back, who's been away for a while, another UK artist, is none other than Dizzy Rascal. Obviously, Dizzy, big fan of his from Day Dot, from when I was in secondary school when his album dropped, and yeah, all the madness that is done since then. And he's back with his latest project, E3AF, or E3 as fuck, I guess, or AF or whatever. This track here features Ghetto and Kano, and this is what I want to hear. You know, this is what I want to hear. 3 grime legends, yeah, going back to back on a track of just bars and hype. It really takes me back to those days, man. Like I said, in secondary school and, you know, growing up through the whole like grime golden era where these men were going back and forth on radio and on tracks and things like that. This song here kind of brings me back to that, a lot like Class of Deja did on Kano's album with Ghetto and D Double. Same sort of feelings here. Very nostalgic. Really good song. And the project, I ain't gonna lie, I haven't listened to a lot of Dizzy projects and enjoyed them since I think maybe Showtime or Maths and English. But this project here, I do enjoy it. I did enjoy it. Like it was a really strong project, really strong project, and I think he did really well in it, man. So yeah, check this tune out and add it to your playlist. All right, so the next track is from a guy called Fredo, another UK artist. And this track here, if you've never heard of Fredo before, he's a UK street rapper, and you know, his subject matter is, you know, typical sort of street rapper subjects, you know, money, cars, girls, alcohol, what he used to move, beef, crime, whatever, all of that sort of stuff. This track here, I would say, is a little bit more, you know, personal. It's a bit more personal to him. He kind of talks about, you know, people who he's lost and things like that. A big shout out to loads of his friends who he's lost and things that are happening in his area and things like that. And I really like it, man. You know, I understand he does the whole, you know, hype sort of stuff and all of that sort of stuff, and you know, the road bars and what. But I do like this sort of stuff as well. I really like this stuff, man, where, you know, you get a bit of more understanding of who he is personally, man. You know, and this is a really good song. Really good song. The video is really good, and it just shows the levels that are really happening in the UK at the moment in terms of quality music. Really good, like mellow sort of tune. Check it out. Add this to your playlist. Yeah, so the next track is from an artist, or two artists. One's called Burner, not to be confused with Burner Boy. This is Burner from America. He's part of Taylor Gang, or he was part of Taylor Gang, I'm not too sure. And an artist who I recently got into and I'm a big fan of now, called Larry June. And this is off of their Cooks and Orange Juice project, and it's called On The Way. And yeah, man, like West Coast. I know Burner's from the West Coast. I think Larry June's from San Francisco or the Bay or something like that. But this is West Coast, man. If you love that West Coast sound, this is one of the tracks like that will definitely get you in that vibe, man. And Larry June, man, he's just a guy, man. The flow, the way he comes in on it. Like I said, he's very. If you like Don Kennedy, you're gonna like this guy. Like he's on that same sort of wavelength, man. Really good tune, good vibes. Yeah, check it out. Woo. So the next track is from one of my favorite R&B guys. I could probably put him in my top 5. None other than Ty Dolla $ign. Just recently released a project called featuring Ty Dolla $ign, because as you know, this guy's worked with everyone, or he's featured on everyone's tracks. So many different artists, and the project is really good, really good project. And you know what, I expect it from Ty Dolla. That's one thing. I feel like he's very underrated in terms of people respecting his projects. Like that Beach House series that he has in terms of the mixtapes, that's quality R&B music, man. And I can sing, he can sing. But this track here is a bit more on the sort of bouncy sort of West Coast, a bit like the track Paranoid, a bit on that same sort of vibe. And this one's called Nothing Like Your Exes. And yeah, it's him on that West Coast sound singing about, you know, how he's nothing like his exes. So, you know, like he's a guy, you know what he's about, that ratchet talk or whatever, that R&B talk with them silky vocals. You know what he's about, man. It's a great tune. Check it out. Add it to your playlist. Alright, so the next track is from the Gorillaz, and it's from like a weird project called, I think, Strange Times. The project is really like a collaboration they had with like loads of different artists. Like they've got, I think, Skepta's on there, they've got like Elton John, they've got like Schoolboy Q, and yeah, it's a range of different artists on there. And this track is called Desolee, I think it is. And yeah, I really like this. A bit more on the alternative side of things, but I really rate the sound. Very good song, very different. If you're into that sort of thing, check out the project. It's very left and right, but you know, it's definitely different. But if you're into that, check it out. Alright, so my final track is from a guy called Crush. You've probably never heard of him, and to be honest with you, I didn't know who he was until like maybe a couple of months ago. So there's an artist called Devin Morrison who I'm really really into. He takes a lot of sounds from, I think, like 90s R&B, and he kind of creates them today, and he's a really good R&B artist. Like, check him out. But he collaborated with a Korean artist called Crush on, I think, on an EP or some singles or something, and I kind of listened to his collaboration and thought, okay, this Crush guy is alright as well. So then I went and started listening to a couple of Crush's projects, and this Korean guy, he's got the vibe. And I know, you know, there's a lot of hoo-ha in terms of, you know, Koreans kind of, or some Koreans, you know, appropriating a lot of the culture, but, you know, I think for him to work with Devin Morrison, it kind of gives that cosign to say, okay, yeah, cool, you're alright, sort of thing. But Crush himself, he's got a lot of R&B tracks which are bangers, like bangers. Like, he does this thing where obviously he spits a bit in English and then a bit in Korean, which is mad. Like, I don't understand what he's saying, but the vibe is there. The vibe is there. There's another track, check out Crush Ohio. Ridiculous. This song is called Tiptoe, and it's really like that 90s sort of like boy bandy sort of R&B sort of sound, I think. Like, it's really good, really good. Like, it's just a vibe, like. And if you like that era, I don't know, like the, you know, all of those sort of guys that did that sort of thing, you're definitely going to get into this track. Check it out, add it to your playlist. Alright guys, thanks so much for checking out the 15 tracks. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you really liked them. I will be back again, you know, to run through another 15 tracks which I'm feeling at the moment. As always, please subscribe, give me a like or anything like that, just to, you know, if you're feeling what's going on. But yeah, I'll be back once again. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.